Hi guys, hello, welcome to my channel. I am so excited for today's video because I am finally doing a birthday book haul. My birthday was literally over a month ago, and because it is a birthday book haul, I do have a collection of books that I got gifted from friends and family, and then also a couple from you guys, and then also I did of course purchase a bunch myself as well. I have been on a book buying ban for like the majority of the year, so I really tried, or I went in to my birthday with the intention of just getting, you know, like 1 or 2 books. That did not happen. I have a giant pile of books that have just been like sitting on my floor off to the side, just taunting me on the daily. So I am so excited to finally show them to you and start reading through these freaking books because there's quite a few on here that I'm like really wanting to read. So without further ado, let's jump straight in. And I am gonna go ahead and start with the books that you guys got for me first. And the very first couple of books that I have are from Jay. Thank you so much. I have already like thanked everyone, but I'm gonna do it here as well. Thank you so much. Literally when I opened this package, I teared up. This package was just like so sweet, and I could tell that she put like a lot of thought into it, and it just, it made me cry. The actual books that she got me were How to Solve Your Own Murder, which sounds so good, and I'm so excited to read this in the fall. This is about a woman who goes to, I think this takes place in the 60s. Yeah, 1965. A teenage Frances goes to a fortune teller basically, and that fortune teller tells her she's going to be murdered, which would be like the worst case scenario. But then she basically spends her entire like 60 more years of life trying to figure out who is going to murder her. And then I think the book actually takes place in present day, and our main character is Annie, who is her like great niece or something like that. And she gets like a letter from her great aunt from Frances basically asking her to come to her estate. But by the time she gets there, her aunt has been murdered. So she kind of like picks up the pieces of the investigation and tries to solve the murder of her aunt. So this sounds so interesting. I'm so excited. Again, I do think I'm gonna wait until the fall to read it because it gives very fall vibes. And then the other book that I got literally squealed out loud. I am so freaking excited for this book. This is Barbarian's Heart by Ruby Dixon. This is the 9th book in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. I have talked about this series so much. I absolutely love it. And they are actually being re-released with these really cute new covers. And I'm obsessed with the covers. And I had this on my list to purchase. I was like gonna get this for my birthday for myself, but she beat me to the punch. Very excited, especially because apparently the author lives in the same state as Jay. So she actually got like a special signed edition. And I cannot tell you how freaking excited I was to get a signed copy of this book. I'm so obsessed with the fact that I have a signed book from her. But then also, I think because it was a special signed edition, I don't know if these came with the book or if she just got these separately, but there's also like a little matching bookmark and sticker, which is so cute. This book, frankly, is at the top of my list to read once I'm done with this video. I'm so excited. I don't know how many times I can say it, but I'm literally so excited. And then along with the books, she also gifted me this really cute strawberry tote bag, which I cannot wait to use. I have reinstated the book ban since getting all these books, but once I'm off of it, or once I take like a quick little break, this tote is coming with me. I cannot wait to use this, especially because it has 2 sets of straps on it. It's got like your regular tote straps, but then also it's like adjustable like crossbody strap, and I am definitely a crossbody type of girl. I hate having to deal with like a bag that keeps falling off your shoulders. So those are the things that I got from Jay. And now moving on to the stuff that I got from Julia. I also got a couple of books from her, and again, thank you so much. I cannot wait to read these books as well, especially because Julia is always someone that leaves such great recommendations. Like literally, there is definitely a giant chunk of my Amazon wish list that is just purely like recommendations from Julia. So I am so excited to read some of the books that she has sent me. The first one being The Luminaries, which I've been wanting for quite some time. Amazon specifically, I feel like recommends this to me all of the time. So I'm excited to finally have it, and I'm actually so excited that I went ahead and also purchased the second book as well in the series. Winnie Wednesday wants nothing more than to join the Luminaries, the ancient order that protects Winnie's town from the monsters and nightmares that rise in the forest of Hemlock Falls every night. Ever since her father was exposed as a witch and a traitor, Winnie and her family have been shunned. But on her 16th birthday, she can take the deadly Luminary Hunter trials and prove herself true and loyal and restore her family's good name. Or die trying. And then the other book that she got me is The Chaos of Stars by Kirsten White. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't really remember putting this on my list, which makes me think that I added it to my list because it was something that she recommended. And she did actually leave a note that says that it's basically one of her top 5 favorite books of like all time. I'm so intrigued and I cannot wait to read this. This one says, Isadora's family is seriously screwed up. Of course, when you're the human daughter of Egyptian gods, that comes with the territory. Isadora's divine relatives can barely remember her name. After all, they're immortal and she isn't. Isadora's sick of living a life where she's only worthy of a passing glance, and when she's offered the chance to move thousands of miles away, she jumps on it. But as much as Isadora tries to keep her new world and old world apart, she quickly realizes there's no such thing as a clean break when it comes to family. The fact that she's like the human daughter of Egyptian gods very much reminds me of The Serpent and the Wings of Night, where the main character in that is the adopted daughter, like human daughter of the vampire king or whatever. And I absolutely loved that dynamic. So I'm very, very excited to kind of get a different version of that kind of a thing. This one seems like it's a little more dysfunctional than in the other book, but I'm very much intrigued. Now moving on to the book that my book bestie Elise got for me. This is Kiss of the Basilisk by Lindsay Straub. And you guys, this book is so stinking pretty. This is one of those types of purchases that I feel like is perfect to receive as a gift, because this is a book that I so very severely have been wanting, but probably never would have purchased for myself because I do already own this. Not this version, but I do own the indie edition of this book. And for me personally, I don't really want to spend money on the same book more than once. So although I literally sat at a table for like 5 minutes staring at this book in the bookstore, I didn't end up getting it. And legitimately later that day when I came home, I had this sitting in my mailbox. So it was like divine timing. So basically, like I said, this book was picked up by a publisher, and not only did the cover change, but the entire title actually changed as well. This book's original title was actually Split or Swallow, which I'm gonna be honest is a much more intriguing title. I prefer that one. And also the cover of that one was really cool as well. I'll pop it on the screen. That was actually a book that I discovered through Elise, who got me this book. There is gonna be a second book to the series as well, so I'm actually really excited even more that I have this version. Obviously that book is gonna match kind of like the aesthetic of this one. Here's what the cover looks like, and these sprayed edges are really what like got my attention the most. Like they're just so stinking cool. Also, this has like a bonus chapter she was telling me as well, which I need to read like ASAP. Ooh, also it has really pretty like end papers. Usually paperbacks don't have stuff on the end papers, but it does. How cool. All right, yeah, this book just got even better. So those are the books that I got from you guys. Moving on to the couple of books that I got from my family. So the first one is a book that I got from my mom. This is Brandon Sanderson's The Hero of Ages, which is the 3rd book in the Mistborn trilogy. Although I'm not reading the series yet, Kevin has been, and he was almost done with the 2nd book, so this came just in time. He has actually already finished this one as well and has graduated to a different book from Brandon Sanderson, which I do also have in this haul as well. So we'll get to that in a minute, but I'm very excited to kind of have that trilogy finished. So whenever I'm ready to pick it up, I have all of it. I can just binge it, which is my favorite way to read through a series. Now moving on to a couple of books that my sister got for me, which I am so excited for. Like literally, if I could have asked for 2 specific books on my list that I wanted like the most, these 2 books were it. The first one being Anathema by Carrie Lake. And as of yesterday, I'm actually even more excited for this one because I saw a TikTok yesterday saying that this book got picked up by a publisher, so the cover might be changing. And I am obsessed with this cover. Like it's one of the main reasons I wanted to read it. It just looks like so haunting and pretty. All of that being said, the synopsis of this also sounds really cool. It very much reminds me of One Dark Window because they both have like a mist or like an area where people go and they're like never heard from again. In this book, it's called The Eating Woods, which I kind of love, and it's described as a misty labyrinth of trees. And again, I kind of want to go into it more blind because this especially is a book that I've heard so much hype on. And when books are super hyped up, that's another time that I really don't want to know anything kind of going in because I want to go in as blind as possible to not have any kind of like preconceived notions about the book. So that is all I'm going to give you on this one. And then the second book that my sister got me is The Poppy Wars, but like not only The Poppy War, but like this new special edition of it, which I have had my eye on for, I mean, since it came out. For pretty much the entire time I've had this channel, I've had this book on my wish list. But then recently, again, the special edition was released and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. The only reason I didn't purchase it for myself sooner was because it does have a pretty hefty price tag. The book says $45. here's what the cover looks like, and the back cover kind of like completes the image, which I think is super cool. And then we also have some like watercolor end papers. The hardcover has a little orange flame on it. You guys know I'm like a sucker for a foiled hardcover. And then of course we can't ignore the flame sprayed edges. These are so, so cool. And then also it has a little bookmark ribbon as well. So I'm obsessed. I cannot wait to read this book, and I'm gonna be super annoying and also, again, not say the synopsis for this one. But the one thing I will say is that my sister, like one of the reasons that she got this for me was because she's currently reading it and really, really liking it, and she wanted to kind of like see what I thought as well. So those are all of the books that I was gifted, and now let's get into this giant stack of all the ones that I purchased for myself. And again, I literally went into this thinking I was just gonna get myself like 1, 2 books tops. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We purchased 12. And the very first book that I have is the Brandon Sanderson book that I was talking about earlier. This is Warbreaker, and this is my very first Pango purchase, which I cannot believe it has taken me so long to buy books from Pango. And according to Brandon Sanderson himself, Warbreaker is the one that he suggests reading after the Mistborn trilogy. If you go on his website, he has like videos where he talks about which book to read in what order for the Cosmere universe. And I actually ended up getting it from Pango because the version of this that's actually currently available for sale, like on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and stuff like that, does not have the most attractive cover in the world. As a matter of fact, I kind of honestly hate it. This cover, in my opinion, is still not like my most favorite in the world, but it's 1,000 times better than the other one. As a matter of fact, actually, there's another series that I almost got on Pango, but then I ended up actually seeing it on Book Outlet's website, so I ended up getting it from there because they were the same price, but these books would be obviously new instead of used. And that series is the rest of the books in the Paper Princess series, which I have talked about a couple of different times. I was actually gifted Paper Princess from one of you guys a while back, and I read it recently and absolutely became immediately obsessed. So I was very, very happy to find them. I think they were like $6, $7 a piece. The only one actually that I don't have is, I think, the 4th book, which was Fallen Air, I think it's called. It's purple. Moving on to a couple of other books that I got from Book Outlet on that same order. I ended up getting Annihilation from Jeff Vandermeer, and this is actually a series that literally every time I go to Barnes & Noble, the covers of this series grab my attention because they just look so stinking cool. They each have like a different animal, and they have these like holographic elements to them. This is a sci-fi book. Basically, it's about Area X, which it says has been cut off from the rest of the continent for decades, and nature has basically reclaimed it. And they've sent like group after group to go and kind of like try to investigate this place, but it never is successful. And this book is essentially about a 12th group that is going to try to investigate this place, and it's built up of 4 different women: an anthropologist, a survivor, a psychologist, and the narrator, a biologist. And it says their mission is to map the terrain, record observations of their surroundings, and above all, avoid being contaminated by Area X. I don't know, I'm willing to give it a shot, especially for this cover. And again, I'm really, really hoping I do like it so I can get the rest of them, because frankly, as cool as this cover is, it is the ugliest, in my opinion, of all the covers. Crossing our fingers. And then the last book that I got from Book Outlet is Immortal Dark. And this one I'm obviously going to read as well, but I got it mostly with kind of like Kevin in mind, because the majority of my collection of books is like 90% probably just like fantasy romances, and that's not really a genre that he reads. So I'm trying to start buying more books that I think he would like as well. And this one specifically, anytime he sees this book, he picks it up. So when I saw this one for like $7 at Book Outlet, I couldn't pass it up. I got very excited, especially because this is a really cool edition of this book as well. It's got sprayed edges with a quote on it. It says, "No soul can enter without an invitation." And then also it's got some red foiling on the cover, also with a quote that says, "Seek mind above blood, and if you must bleed, use it as ink." This one says, "A lost heiress, a soulless vampire, a secret drenched in blood. Orphaned heiress kitten grew up far from the arcane society she was born into, where human bloodlines gain power through vampire companionship." Love that already. Also too though, it's definitely sounding like it's gonna have romance in it, and I, again, specifically got this with Kevin in mind, thinking that it didn't have any kind of romance in it. When her sister June disappears, Kitten is convinced a vampire stole her. The very vampire bound to their family, the cruel yet captivating Susenyos, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. To find June, Kitten must infiltrate the elite Uxley University. There she must survive living with Susenyos, even as he does everything he can to drive her away. It doesn't matter that his wickedness speaks to Kitten's own violent nature and tempts her to surrender to a life of darkness. She must find her sister and kill him at all costs. And then there's a little bit more, but I kind of want to leave it there because I'm intrigued enough. I'm excited. So there's that one. And then this is like the one and only book that I got from Amazon, which is kind of crazy because typically Amazon is like the main place that I get books. I would have gotten this from Blackwell's, which is a UK bookstore, because this is a UK edition of a book. But because of like the tariffs and things like that are going on right now in the US, I wasn't sure how that was going to work. So I searched on Amazon and thankfully was able to find this. This is Faithbreaker by Hannah Kaner. This is the third book in the God Killer series. I've only read the first book so far in the series, but I really, really enjoyed it. And also the covers of these books are so stinking cool. They look exactly the same in the US as they do in the UK, but for whatever reason, the UK is the only place that has the hardcover. The US does not. We only have paperbacks, and again, although the imagery is the same, it just looks so much better as a hardcover. Also too, the hardcover does have like really cool end papers. There's nothing, unfortunately, on the actual hardcover itself, but the end papers are really pretty. But anyway, I'm not going to say what this one's about because it is the third book in a series, but as far as the first book goes, it has kind of a cozy fantasy, but like dark kind of vibe. And it is very much like a found family as well, which I absolutely love. Basically, we have like a collection of like random people that should have like nothing to do with each other. And they all kind of have like their own separate missions, but they end up kind of running into each other and turning their separate missions into one big one. And it was a little slow to start actually, but once everyone kind of like met up, it became a lot more entertaining. I think it was mostly because like one person's perspective specifically, I wasn't as interested in the beginning. So every time it went to that person's, I was kind of like, ugh. Like I just want to get back to the other story, you know what I mean? But again, once it kind of like all came together, it was really, really good. And it did leave off on a cliffhanger, that first book. So I really need to read the second one. The next 3 books that I have are all books that I got specifically on one Barnes & Noble trip. And I got them all because of the aesthetics of the books. The first one that I have is The Rose Bargain, and this one I actually was introduced to by Alexa Ray. I was watching one of her reading vlogs and I saw like the smallest little glimpse of this hardcover and immediately knew I had to get it. This one says, every citizen of England is granted one bargain from their immortal queen. High society girls are expected to bargain for qualities that will win them suitors. A rare talent for piano in exchange for one's happiest childhood memory, a perfect smile for one's ability to taste. Personal opinion, that would never be worth it. Also, I kind of hate that the women are expected to use this really cool gift for someone else's benefit, basically. But Ivy's debut season arrives with a twist, a competition to marry the Queen's Fae son, Prince Bram. It's a prize that could save Ivy's family from ruin and free her older sister from the bargain that destroyed her. Yet every glittering Fae deal has a rotting heart, and amidst lavish balls, vicious competition, and a dangerous alliance with the prince's rakish younger brother, Prince Emmett, Ivy realizes that at the center of this contest lies a dark plot that could destroy all of England and her heart. So it sounds like Prince Emmett is actually going to be the love interest, not Prince Bram. Either way, I'm so excited. It has kind of like a Bridgerton vibe with like the high society, but then also the competition. I'm very, very excited. This is The Shadow Bride by Shelby Maharan, which is the follow-up to The Scarlet Veil, which was a spin-off from the Serpent and Dove series. This one also deals with vampires, so very excited to kind of get back into this. And I don't want to say anything about the plot because again, it is a spin-off of a different series, so I don't really want to give anything away to that series, but I do want to show you the hardcover because it's super pretty. It's got like a full foiled cover and I absolutely love this like icy blue kind of color. Obsessed. So there's that one. And then the third book that I got on this specific trip to Barnes & Noble, I got Fable for the End of the World. And this is a book that I actually featured in my spring releases video. It has a really, really cool concept. That being said, I wasn't necessarily intending on getting a physical copy of this book until I saw it in the store. First of all, the actual dust jacket is really cool. It has some holographic kind of elements to it, and the back cover does as well. I think that is so, so pretty. It has some really cool matching sprayed edges, this kind of like leafy pattern that's all over the dust jacket. And then the hardcover, of course, has a full foiled cover as well. I also just realized that the deer on the cover has kind of like a third eye, potentially. And there's also some eyes like mixed into the bushes, which I think has to do with the like synopsis, because this is basically about a live streamed competition, which the concept of that sounds so cool. I read a book a couple of years ago called Nerve. I don't remember the exact intricacies of the competition within the book, but basically you got like dares that were like sent to you, or there was like a list or something like that, and you had to kind of like film yourself doing the dare and then send it into this show, and then they would kind of like show it on their website or something like that, and then people would vote, and whoever had like the best version of that dare or something won that round or something like that. It was a really, really cool book. So I'm very excited to get a similar type of vibe in this book. And this one I can't read the synopsis to you even if I wanted to, because it literally only has like 2 sentences, but it does say the Lamb's Gauntlet is a live streamed assassination spectacle and the next lamb has been chosen, which actually is jogging my memory. So basically this one, if I remember correctly, is about a girl who's like a competitor in this live streamed assassination contest, and the other girl is the assassin. And again, if I remember correctly, I do believe this is a sapphic romance, so there's gonna be romance involved between the competitor and the assassin, which sounds so good. So very, very excited for this one. And now, last but certainly not least for this entire haul, we got Silver Elite and Shield of Sparrows. Literally my TikTok was filled with nothing but videos of these 2 books, and typically I don't really fall into the trap, if you will, of hype. As a matter of fact, when books get really, really hyped up, I tend to kind of stay away from them for fear of just like, it can't possibly be as good as everyone's saying. But for some reason with these ones, after a week, I just was like, fine, I'll get the freaking books. I did actually already start Silver Elite, and so far I'm really liking it. How far am I? I'm 163 pages in. And actually also Shield of Sparrows won in the book club. So for June, this is going to be our book club book as well. So I will be reading both of these books in June. I am very excited, and I'm really hoping, really crossing my fingers that they are worth all of the hype that I have been hearing. And it's actually kind of funny because like as soon as I bought these, I literally have not seen a single video on TikTok about either of them. It's like the universe knew that I got them and they're like, okay, we don't need to show these to her anymore. I am planning on doing a reading vlog. I say that very loosely because every time I feel like I say that, I never end up following through with it. Reading vlogs are so hard for me for some reason, but I'm gonna really, really try, especially because this one is the book club book. I really want to do a reading vlog for it. That being said, if I do that reading vlog, I'm gonna be talking about these in depth in that. So I'm not gonna do it again here. And with that, those are all of the books that I got for my birthday. Now I have a giant stack of books that I literally have no idea what I'm gonna do with, because these are my TBR shelves and they're currently stacked to the brim. Like there's literally no room on them. So I don't know where these books are going, but we're gonna figure it out. Let me know in the comments what the most recent book that you purchased is. I'm very curious to see what you guys are buying. And with that, that is everything that I have for this video. I hope you guys have had the most amazing of days, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.